What if you were just one version of yourself? The most convenient one. Tonight on Halfway Dark, we unravel a chain of stories where reality doesn't fracture. One detail at a time, one forgotten moment at a time, until you wake up in the middle of a life that isn't yours. But everyone swears it is. In these stories, people find themselves replaced, remembered too early, or erased before their own eyes. And the worst part, it's not that someone's changing your life, it's that you might have asked them to. They always act like they've met me before. But I've never been there. It started to towns over. I was traveling for work. Just a quick stop in a place I'd never been. I ducked into a small diner off the highway. Needed coffee and something hot after the drive. As I stepped inside, the woman behind the counter smiled too wide. Back already? I paused. Sorry, she blinked. The smile faltered just slightly. Welcome back, and sat down. A minute later, she brought over a coffee black to sugars without me ordering. That's exactly how I take it. How'd you? She shrugged. You always sit there. Figured it was muscle memory. I didn't argue, but when I left, I asked her how long I'd been coming there. She hesitated. Couple months now. You usually come through on Thursdays, sometimes Friday mornings. You don't always talk. I'd never set foot in that diner before. I left fast, didn't say goodbye. Thought maybe it was a weird case of mistaken identity, until it happened again. 2 weeks later, I stopped at a gas station in a different state. Guy behind the counter looked up and grinned. Hey man, you're back. That card issue ever get sorted out? I said nothing. He laughed. Still quiet, huh? Classic you. I paid cash and left. In the bathroom mirror, I looked at myself. Same face, same tired eyes. Nothing strange. But someone somewhere was walking around in front of me, making introductions I hadn't made yet. Back home, it got worse. A woman bumped into me on the street. She stared, then said, "I'm sorry, I thought you were someone else." She gave me a look like she almost recognized me. Like the memory was half loaded. I asked, "Do I look familiar?" She nodded slowly. "We talked last week, didn't we?" "No." I said, "I've never met you." She walked off before I could ask what she meant. That night I checked my voicemail. 2 missed calls, both from unknown numbers. The first was static, garbled. The second had a voice mine. "Hey, I know this is going to be confusing, but I need you to stay put. Just let it catch up." Click. I didn't leave my apartment for 2 days. When I finally did, my barista asked if I'd found my missing wallet. I hadn't even told her it was gone. But when I checked, it was the spare, the one I kept in the back of my closet. Gone. And I already knew what the last photo of my ID looked like before I pulled it up. Slightly older, slightly emptier. Then came the letter, slid under my door, unmarked. If they recognize you, it's already happened. The loop is catching. Don't break routine. You're not the first version, but you're the one that's stuck. I tried calling my sister. Her voice shook when she answered. "You said you wouldn't call again." I didn't. She started crying. "Why are you doing this to me? You were fine last week." Then she hung up. I don't remember talking to her last week, but I believe her. I've started seeing gaps in my memory, in my mirrors. Yesterday I opened my front door and saw a man walking away down the hall. He moved just like me. Same jacket, same stride. He didn't turn around. He didn't have to. He was going somewhere I already was. I got a list of things to do in my own handwriting, and I'm already on step 5. I found the list on my kitchen counter when I got home from work. It was written in my handwriting. Neat, precise, centered on the page, titled, "Do not deviate." Below that, a numbered list. Ignore the call at 6:13 p.m. Check the vent behind the fridge. Burn what you find. Put the lighter back where it was. Go to the park bench near 4th and Hill. Sit. Wait at the bottom. One final instruction in red ink. You'll know when to stop. I laughed at first. Thought maybe I'd written it while half asleep. I've done weirder. But then my phone rang. 6:13 p.m. On the dot, unknown number. I let it ring. The voicemail came through 20 seconds later. It was just breathing. Long, shallow. Then my own voice whispered, "You're behind schedule." I hung up. Went straight to the fridge. Pulled it away from the wall. There was a loose vent cover behind it, screwed in halfway. I pried it off with a butter knife inside. A tiny cloth bundle, tied shut. I didn't want to open it. I lit it on the stove. The bundle hissed, smelled like singed hair and metal. The flame turned blue. Inside, something. When it was done burning, I found a metal sliver, about the size of a house key, engraved with a symbol I didn't recognize. I put it in a glass, poured water over it. The water turned gray. I dumped it down the drain. Shaken, I walked into the bedroom. My old lighter, the one I lost last year, sat neatly on the dresser. I returned it to the junk drawer, just like the list said. I checked the page again. I was on step 5. Go to the park bench near 4th and Hill. Sit. Wait, I shouldn't have gone, but I did. It was already dark when I got there, cold, no one around. I said waited. After a few minutes, a man passed by. Didn't look at me. Then a woman jogging, headphones in. At 7:18 p.m., a small black sedan pulled up across the street. Headlights off. Someone inside rolled the window down. I stood, they nodded, then drove away. My phone buzzed. New message. Good. Check your mailbox when you get home. No number, no sender. I rushed back to the apartment. heart pounding. Inside my mailbox was a second list. Same paper, same handwriting. Titled, Adjustments Phase 2, and scrolled at the top. This isn't your first time doing this. The first 3 steps. Don't answer the knock tonight. Don't leave the hallway light on. When you wake up, you'll remember more. That was 2 hours ago. It's 2:06 a.m. now. There's been knocking at my door for 11 minutes straight. Soft, rhythmic. Whoever it is hasn't said a word. The hallway lights just flickered off on its own. I'm staring at the door, and on the inside of it, written in the same red ink as before, is a new message. This time, don't hesitate. I got a letter saying I am under observation, but they want to tell me why it came in a plain white envelope. No return address, just my name, printed cleanly across the front. Inside, a single sheet of paper, typed, Dear Redacted. This is to inform you that your activity is now under observation. No action is required. Do not attempt to contact us. You will not receive further warning. No signature, no seal. Just that. I turned it over blank. I scanned it for tracking chips, watermarks, anything, nothing. At first I thought it was a prank. Maybe a messed up marketing tactic. Something viral. But the next day I got another envelope. Same paper, same format. This one said, Please maintain current routines. Your cooperation so far is noted and appreciated so far. I hadn't done anything. I showed it to a friend. She said it looked fake. Maybe someone was messing with me. But that night I noticed something strange. My living room window, the one that always fogs up from the inside, was fogged from the outside, like someone had been breathing on it. I checked the security cam in the hallway. There was 15 minutes of missing footage. Time skipped from 2:14 to 2:29 a.m. No explanation. The next morning, the third letter arrived. Subject demonstrates high compatibility. Environmental conditioning appears stable. Phase 2 pending. I started keeping the letters, logged everything. I emailed the lawyer, thinking it might be part of some buried surveillance program or psychological study, something that had gone too far. The reply I got, email, undeliverable. User does not exist. Same with the backup contact. Same with a random test email. Every message I sent out about the letters bounced, but my internet worked fine for everything else. I tried mailing one of the letters back, just to see where it went. Dropped it in a public box with a tracking sticker attached. 3 days later, the envelope returned. Same letter, same condition. No postmark, only difference. At the bottom, a new line had been typed. Thank you for responding. I stopped talking about it, didn't tell anyone else, but the letters kept coming every few days. Updates, metrics, behavior, summaries. Subject spent 36% more time in silent contemplation. Subject avoided mirror after 9:00 p.m. noted. Subject exhibits increased dream fragmentation. Encouraging. How did they know what I was dreaming? I started waking up tired, like something had been watching me all night. Then I got a letter with my own handwriting at the bottom. We're grateful for your consent. I never signed anything. I never agreed to this, but part of me feels like I did, a long time ago, before I knew what they meant. The most recent letter arrived yesterday. Inside, it simply read, Window access approved. Expect contact. Maintain normalcy. I didn't understand until this morning. When I woke up, the bedroom window, painted shut since I moved in, was open. Wide on the windowsill. A fourth letter, shorter than the rest. Look in the mirror. The version you see is not the one they chose. Please remain where you are. I haven't moved from the living room since. I covered every reflective surface, because for a moment, just a flicker, I caught my reflection smiling before I did. And I'm afraid if I look again, it'll blink when I don't. I've been waking up in the middle of conversations I don't remember starting the first time it happened. I was in the shower, I blinked, and suddenly, I was sitting on the floor of the living room, soaked, wrapped in a towel I don't remember grabbing. Phone in hand, speaker on, a voice on the other end. Say it again, just one more time. I hung up before I could respond. I didn't recognize the number, there was no call history. My phone said I hadn't made a call in hours. I told myself it was stress, a sleepwalking glitch, a lapse, but that wasn't the only time. 2 nights later, I woke up standing in the kitchen I was holding a knife in one hand, a pad of sticky notes in the other. The last word I'd spoken hung in the air like it had been important. ... accepting. I had written something on the top notes, so one word ready, I don't remember writing it. Or grabbing the knife. Or who I was talking to. The worst part, there was no one there. Just me. And silence, except a notification buzzed. Audio recording, 4 minutes, 12 seconds long. Saved to my voice memos under a file named practice_3. I played it. It was me, talking in a low voice. Conversational, but the tone wasn't right. He's still pushing back, but is close, almost aligned. Then a pause, a different voice. Similar to mine, but not quite. Next time, he'll say it willingly. The file ended with laughter, quiet, raspy, behind my own breath. I deleted it, uninstalled the app. The next morning, it was back. Same name, different recording. This one was shorter, just 2 words. Don't resist. That night, I set up a camera in the corner of the room, pointed at my bed. I watched the footage the next day, from 1:37 a.m. to 2:09 a.m. Walked out of frame. The file corrupted right after. The footage skipped to 5:14 a.m. I was back in bed, turned the other way, camera untouched. When I checked my closet, one of my old coats, a trench I never wear, had been moved. Inside the pocket was a folded note. The less you talk, the more room I have. That's when I stopped sleeping. Didn't matter, I still woke up standing in the stairwell, writing in a notebook I didn't buy. One entry is still asking questions. This one might not hold. I tried checking myself into a clinic. They couldn't find any mental health history under my name. I showed them my ID, my prescription history, my insurance. The receptionist smiled too wide. Didn't you already check in last week? I ran back at home. The mirrors were all covered by me, sheets pinned to the glass. Each one had a note taped over it. The handwriting was mine, but tighter, more confident. He copies from reflections, keep them blind. I'm not sure who he is anymore, or if he is me. This morning I found a message in my own voice on my voicemail. Don't be afraid. This is what you were for. I think tonight is the last night I'll be able to hold the service, because I can feel it now. Something moving behind my words, ready to finish the sentence I never started. Someone keeps logging into my life and making changes I don't remember. At first it felt like forgetfulness. Little things, an unread email marked as open, a text reply to that I swear I didn't send, an event in my calendar I didn't remember accepting, a dentist appointment that showed up overnight, same office, correct address, but I haven't been in 2 years. Then my work history changed. My LinkedIn listed a job I'd never worked, a software firm in another state. It was listed for 8 months, with endorsements from people I didn't know. One of them had a photo with me in it. I stared at it for 10 minutes. Same face, same scar under my eye, same shirt I own, folded in my closet right now. I clicked the profile. It no longer existed. The next day, my bank flagged a login from a new device. Same IP address, same city, just not mine. I called them. They asked if I had 2 phones. I don't, but the rep said they saw 2 devices, same model, same SIM ID, logging in 10 minutes apart from different locations. He's literally in 2 places at once, she joked. I didn't laugh. I checked my phone's location history. There were blips, places I've never been, a gas station 4 miles away, a bookstore downtown I haven't visited in years, each one timestamped at a time I was asleep. I started staying up, watching my screens, checking my browsing history. One night I went to the kitchen to refill my water. When I came back, my email tab had been closed, and a new draft was open, blank subject line. Are we still pretending? I shut the laptop, unplugged everything. The next morning, the email was sent to someone named m.driven@echelonmail.com. I searched it, nothing. No social, no domain, no trace. I changed all my passwords, set up to installed monitoring tools. They caught nothing, except once, during a routine log, I saw it. A second user session, active for 4 minutes. No input detected, no browser, no clicks. I went to the bathroom mirror, stared at myself, told myself it was stress, but my reflection smiled a second too long. The next night I found a folder on my desktop. I didn't make it. Inside, screenshots of my home screen, my inbox, my face asleep, from an angle above the bed. The file names were all numbers, but one had a name missing. I went to the landlord, asked if someone had a key to my unit. She pulled out the record. 2 keys listed. One for me, the other signed out to... Literally in caps. I asked who signed it out. She checked the log. Signature matched mine. Same handwriting, same initials. Dated 3 days ago. When I was out of town. That night I nailed my window shut. Slept in shifts. No laptop, no phone, just silence. At 2:17 a.m., I woke up to a soft tapping. On the inside of my screen, my laptop, powered off, was glowing faintly. A message scrolled across the display in pale gray text. We're already in. You're just catching up. Next morning I checked my security cam app. All footage deleted, but a new clip had been uploaded. Just 7 seconds long. A figure, my size, my shape, standing in my kitchen, staring directly into the lens. Then, in my voice, you're doing great. Just stay out of my inbox. I keep finding things in my house that prove I am living a different version of my life. It started with a couch. One night I sat down and thought, this isn't the one I bought. Same size, same color. But the cushions were stiffer, cleaner, the stain on the left armrest was gone. I told myself I was imagining it. Memory isn't perfect, and I've been tired lately. But then I opened the cutlery drawer and found a knife I didn't own. Matte black, no logo, sharper than any of mine, and beside it, a fork with 4 perfect prongs. I remembered bending one last year. I never replaced it. I checked my Amazon orders. No record. Checked the photos on my phone. Found a pic from 2 months ago. The bent fork was there, clear as day. I took another photo, compared them side by side. Different forks. I asked my neighbor if anyone had access to my place, if there were maintenance crews, inspections, anything. He looked confused. "You don't remember?" he asked. "Remember what? You moved in last week. I've lived here for 4 years. But when I checked my mailbox, my name was still written on the label in fresh marker. The lease agreement was gone from my drawer. No emails, no payment history, just a single rent receipt. Dated 6 days ago." I started digging. Every photo on my phone before this month was grainy, distorted, like they'd been scanned from another device. Faces blurred, dates mismatched. One shot of me and my sister at a lake had the same background twice, like it had been pasted together. I called her. She picked up, but there was hesitation in her voice. "Hey, you okay?" "I think something's wrong." A pause, "Then you sound different." I told her what I found. She got quiet. Then she said, "You called me last week. You were crying. You said you woke up in the wrong version again." I asked her what she meant. "You told me it happens sometimes, that you have to play along." That night I found a notebook under my bed, brown leather cover, blank except for a few pages. My handwriting, definitely mine. The most recent entry. 3 days in furniture doesn't match. Avoid mirrors, do not go to the third drawer in kitchen. They always start small. If you're reading this, they reset you again. I ran to the kitchen, opened a third drawer. Inside was a photo I've never seen. Me, standing in front of a house I don't recognize, next to a woman I've never met. But we're holding hands. She's smiling at me like she's known me her whole life. On the back of the photo, "This time, don't look for her, she's not here." The next morning, my fridge had different magnets. The milk was a brand I don't buy. My calendar was a week behind. The couch, back to normal. Same stain, same worn-in shape, but the knife was still there. And on the underside of the blade, scratched so faintly I nearly missed it, was a message. "This is the real one." I don't know what that means, but every night since, I find something small has changed. A sock I don't own. A voicemail I don't remember leaving, but it's my voice. Last night, I checked under my bed again. The notebook was gone. In its place was a new one. Same leather. On the first page, almost anchored, "One will reset and you're locked in. Good luck. P.S. Burn this copy before they do." Every door in my apartment now leads to the same room. It started with the bathroom. I opened the door one morning and instead of tile in a sink, I saw my bedroom. Not just a copy. My room, same unmade bed, same stack of books on the nightstand, same sunlight falling on the rug in the same exact angle it had in real life. One room over, I stepped inside, and I was back in my room. I turned around. The door was gone. The wall was solid now. No frame, no hinge, just smooth drywall. I froze, paced, panicked. After a minute, I ran to the hallway and opened the bedroom door again. The real one had led to the same room, same copy, same layout, same me. I started checking every door in the apartment. The coat closet, the pantry, the front door, all of them opened into my bedroom. I stood in the hallway, spinning slowly. Every door open. Every one of them showed the same scene. My bedroom, lit in the same warm light, frozen in the same moment. And worst of all, when I stepped through one, the others vanished. I had no way back. I spent an hour trying to break a window. The glass wouldn't shatter. My phone had no signal. The power outlets didn't work. The clock on the nightstand never moved. 9:41 a.m. forever. That's when I noticed the rug. It had shifted, just slightly. Instead of straight lines, the corner was turned toward the closet. Only there is no closet in my bedroom. But now there was. A narrow door I didn't remember ever having. I opened it, and inside was me, asleep, peacefully, breathing, steady. Same clothes, same face. Except his version of the room looked realer. His light flickered with shadows. Mine didn't. He had dust on his shelf. Mine was clean. He looked like he belonged. I stepped back, closed the door. And that's when the rug shifted again. Now it pointed to the mirror. A mirror that had never been on my wall before. I looked in, my reflection blinked late, then smiled when I didn't. Behind it, the reflection of the door opened again, but not to the hallway, to something else. Another room, not mine. Concrete walls, a chair, a table, one camera on a tripod. The reflection stepped back, walking into that new space. I didn't move. It waved at me. Then the door on my side creaked. My doorknob turned and someone said, in my voice, "You're not using this life, so I will." I locked myself in the bathroom, which is still the bedroom, or a copy of it. I don't know anymore. There's one door left, the one I haven't opened. It appeared while I was writing this. Small, gray, with a note taped to the front. Try again. The clock still says 9:41, but I think if I open that door, time starts over. And maybe I do too. I keep getting voicemails from a life I never lived. The first one came on a Tuesday. My phone buzzed. One new voicemail. No missed call. I figured it was spam. But the transcription preview caught my eye. Hey, just checking in. Dinner's still on at 7. Right, I didn't recognize the number or the voice when I played it. A woman, warm, familiar, in a way that scraped at something deep in my head. But I live alone. I don't have dinner plans. I don't know her, no name, no context. Just that calm voice, asking about a life I wasn't living. I deleted it. 2 days later, I got another. This time, the transcript read, "You left your keys again. I'll hide the spare under the owl statue." Same number, same voice. I don't own an owl statue, but I checked anyway. Out on my balcony, shoved in a cardboard box I had anti-touched in years, was a small ceramic owl. I reached under it. There was a key. Not to my apartment, to a different one. Metal tag attached. Unit 4B. I live in C. I went to the building directory. There's number 4B. The 4th floor doesn't exist. The elevator skips from 3 to 5. But the next voicemail came that night. "I found your notebook. Don't worry, I didn't read it. But I wish you'd let me in more." That one hit me, because I used to write in a notebook. Years ago I hadn't seen it in ages, but the next morning it was on my kitchen table. Same leather cover, same bent corner from where I dropped it on a radiator once. Inside, clean pages, except for one. A message in my handwriting. "Keep listening." I didn't remember writing it. The next voicemail was from a man. "You're starting to feel it, right? The echo, that ache when you're in the wrong timeline too long." He laughed. "Don't worry. That version of you had everything. It's normal to miss it. Then you just have to decide which life you're going to keep." The message cut off. No number, no timestamp. I stopped sleeping. I'd wake up and find things out of place. Shoes I don't wear, a toothbrush in the wrong color, a photo on my fridge that I don't remember printing, but the face beside mine is always blurred. I went to the phone store, asked if someone could spoof voicemails. The guy said no, unless they were coming from inside the device. That night, my phone vibrated again. No voicemail this time, just an audio file titled "Final Reminder." The voice was mine. "You said you wanted the other life. You said yes. You left it for me. Remember, this one was just a placeholder." Then a pause. "And softer, if you stay too long, they'll notice the overlap. They'll come for both of us." The file deleted itself. Now, every day at 7 p.m. my phone buzzes once. No message, no call. Just a low tone, like a note from an instrument I don't remember learning to play. And in the corner of my screen, just for a second, I see the number 4B flash and vanish. Tonight, I think I'm going to knock on the 4th floor. Even if the elevator skips it, even if the stairs don't go there, because I keep hearing someone walking above me. And sometimes, they're humming my favorite song, the one I never told anyone about. I think I was only meant to be temporary. I found the folder by accident, buried deep on an old hard drive I had untouched in years. When I used back in college, I was looking for an old paper, something I could reuse. But instead, I found a folder labeled active_instance. Inside were dozens of text files, each one named with a timestamp. I opened it. It started with a line of code. Then below that, instance still functioning. No anomalies. Host unaware. Proceeding with monitoring. At first I thought it was a joke, some project I forgot about. A prank file. Then I opened yesterday's minor deviation during morning routine. Skipped coffee. Marked slight delay in commute due to hesitation at stoplight. Memory consistency holding. Each file was about me. Things I did thought. Forgot. Specific to the point of being inside my head. I opened a file from 2 weeks ago, one where ID had a nightmare I didn't even remember until I read it again. The entry ended with, "Dream retention low, adjusting cycle, paced for an hour." Then opened it again and looked at the first file. It was dated 9 years ago. Backup instance initialized. Original unrecoverable. Stability uncertain. Proceed with temporary overlap. Full transfer pending. I sat there in silence. Backup instant, like I was a placeholder, a copy, a fill-in. I searched every inch of the drive. There were no videos, no images, just logs. Cold, clinical, tracking everything from what I wore to what I regretted. They knew things I'd never told anyone. A childhood accident I never reported. A lie I told my sister that I still feel guilty about. They knew when I cried in the shower last December. They even documented the day I first said, "I feel like I'm not myself." That entry was bolded, flagged, self-awareness breach detected, monitor closely. I looked at today's entry again. At the bottom, a fresh line had appeared. Final transfer in progress. Original returning. Prepare for merge or overwrite. I unplugged the drive, turned off the laptop, but it didn't matter because now I can feel it. Something's slipping. My habits are changing. I crave things I've never liked. I remember places I've never been. With clarity. Yesterday I called someone by the wrong name, but they said it was right. I found clothes in my closet that I know aren't mine, but they fit. They feel worn in. I'm starting to black out. Lose time, I wake up and the dishes are done. The TV is on a channel I've never watched. My phone has playlists I didn't create, but somehow I know every word. Last night I looked in the mirror and smiled without meaning to. It felt automated, like the body was warming up for someone else. I went back to the laptop. One last file had appeared. It was named merge_ready_txt inside. Just one line. "Thank you for holding my place. You were almost perfect." I am starting to remember a life that wasn't mine. And it is taking over. It started with a smell. Warm bread, Cinnamon. Something nostalgic, like a memory I hadn't made yet. I was sitting at my desk working when it hit me out of nowhere. Familiar, comforting, and completely out of place. I don't bake. I live alone. No neighbors on either side. I got up and followed it to the hallway. And just like that, it was gone. No smell, no warmth, just silence. I shrugged it off, until the next day when I opened my closet and found a jacket I didn't recognize. Dark green, soft lining, a little worn at the cuffs. But it fit perfectly, like it had been mine for years, except I've never owned anything like it. I chalked it up to a thrift store pickup I forgot about, until I reached into the pocket. Inside was a receipt from a coffee shop in a city I've never been to, dated 4 years ago. Under the name Ryan. That's not my name. But when I read it, something flickered. A flash of standing at a counter, laughing with a barista, a favorite order, iced Americano with cinnamon syrup. I don't drink that, but the thought made my mouth water. I started writing the memory off as a daydream, but the flashes got stronger. Out of nowhere, I'd remember addresses I'd never lived at, street names I'd never driven down, faces I couldn't name, but who smiled when I saw them like we shared something. I tried to ignore it, maybe stress, lack of sleep, but then I started forgetting the real stuff. My own apartment number slipped my mind. I got lost on the way to the grocery store I've been shopping at for years. I called my sister by the wrong name. I said Casey. I don't know a Casey, but in my head I saw her. Dark hair, freckles, a voice that made me feel safe. Someone who doesn't exist. I found a journal on my nightstand a few nights ago. Brown leather, blank pages. Only the first page had anything written in it. You're remembering faster this time. Don't resist the old version. Let it fade. We need you back before the body forgets how to breathe. I tried to tear it up, but the next morning, it was back. Pristine. A new entry. Ryan, don't let him anchor. You're almost through. I looked in the mirror that day and didn't recognize the expression on my face. It wasn't fear, it was relief. Like something inside me was finally getting what it wanted. I went to my family, asking them to remind me of things. Birthdays, old stories, anything. They said I looked pale, like I hadn't slept in days. They said I kept calling them the wrong names, asking about things that never happened, asking where Casey went. They didn't know who I meant, but I did. I remembered her birthday, April 18th. I remembered the scar on her collarbone from a bike accident. I remembered the name of her childhood dog. None of it is mine, but it's all I can hold on to now. I woke up this morning and my phone unlocked with the passcode 0418, which I can't remember anymore. There was a new note in the journal, just one sentence. One more sleep in your home. I'm scared to go to bed. Scared of what I'll be when I wake up. A part of me is excited, because if I'm not who I thought I was, then maybe I've just been waiting to become someone better. My brother sounds wrong on the phone, and it's getting worse. My brother calls me every Sunday. It's a routine we started after our dad died, just to check in, keep each other tethered. He's never missed a week, never once, until 3 Sundays ago. That night, at 7 o'clock sharp, the usual time, my phone rang. Caller ID said it was him. I picked up. Hey, I said. There was a pause. Then his voice, almost normal. Hey, sorry, bad signal. But his voice didn't sound like it had bad signal. It sounded off, like someone doing a good impression, just slightly too polished. I brushed it off, figured he was tired. We talked for 10 minutes. Small stuff. Work, the weather. He asked about a scar I have on my left hand, which was weird. He's seen it 100 times. Still have that little scar, he asked. Yeah, why? No reason. Just forgot what side it was on. The next Sunday, he called again. This time, I noticed the rhythm was wrong. My brother talks fast, always has, but this version of him paused between sentences, like he was choosing his words. He asked me about things we've never really discussed. You ever think about what it'd be like if you were someone else? Do you believe memories can be moved around? I thought he was joking, but when I laughed, he didn't. He just said, sorry, just wondering. Then he hung up early. This past Sunday, the call came late. 7:42 p.m. Still his number, still his voice, but even less right, too smooth, too neutral, like someone sanded the emotion off it. Hey, I said, already uneasy. Silence. Then, do you remember the night you lost time? I didn't reply, because I had lost time. Once, in college, a blackout, 6 hours missing. Why are you asking me that? I said. He replied, because it was important. That's when we started talking. I hung up, tried to call him back, straight to voicemail. I called again. This time, it didn't even ring, just a dead line. I checked the number, it was his, but the last digit had changed. The next morning I called my real brother. His voice, tired, hoarse, but right, answered. Hey, what's up? You okay? I asked. Yeah, you're alright, you sound weird. I told him about the calls, he went quiet. Then he said, I haven't called you in 3 weeks. I talked to you, Noli said. You talked to something else. I felt sick. He told me about a voice he heard in a dream once. Sounded just like me. Asked the same kinds of questions. He'd forgotten it until now. Whatever it is, he said, It learns, gets better. That night I blocked the fake number, turned off my phone, but at 7 p.m. sharp, my landline rang. An old number I never gave anyone. I didn't answer. The voicemail came 30 seconds later. My voice but wrong slowed down, echoing slightly. It said, "We're so close now. You almost know what we are." Then, "Do you want to be the voice next?" Click the message, delete itself. Before I could replay it. Now, every night at 7 o'clock, I hear my phone vibrate. But when I pick it up, there's no missed call. Just the dial tone and my voice whispering, "Ask me something only he would know." So if you've ever get a message in your own handwriting, if a stranger smiles at you like your old friends, if the mirror blinks before you do, just remember, you're not paranoid. You're just late to the plan. Thanks for listening to Halfway Dark. Hit subscribe and keep your eyes open. Because if the stories are starting to sound familiar, you're already in one.